What's going on? Blessed Tuesday. My message for today, it's 8:45. I have 15 minutes. I always love to inspire myself above all things first. So as I speak to you, I'm also speaking to myself. Having people or wanting people to show up for you in your way is never going to happen. We have to understand that life is all about variety. People have the right to show up and love you however they decide to do that. It is not my place, it is not your place to tell them to love you or show up for you differently. Some of us, no, all of us are already pre-wired through our experience to show up the way that we can show up and love the way that we love according to our capacity and our experiences, programs, identities we've taken on that have put us in this place of how we're able to show up and love someone. And I think where a lot of the conflict comes in, especially with relations, is, and this is why a lot of people kind of fall short when it comes to relationships, because you're wanting somebody else to show up for you in the way that you want them to show up, but they don't have the capacity to do that. And then so in return, you get frustrated, and then you have this animosity towards them because you're forcing something that cannot that cannot dwell in a space that doesn't want it to dwell in that space. And so this is why it's important to observe people in the way that they love already, and the information and the knowledge that they have within themselves already, and the compassion that they have for others and themselves already. The way that they already show up for people in their lives or in others' lives, even by simple questions that you can ask them, will show you how they show up for other people. So it's important to never put your desires of how you love and how you show up and try to place that into a vessel that doesn't desire that aspect of it. Some don't know that aspect of it, some don't desire that aspect of it, and some just don't want to be that. And I think the more that we come into a space of this acknowledgement, then we really begin to see the person in front of us for exactly what they are and exactly how they are presenting themselves. And yes, people will often, especially when you first meet them, show up with their representative, but it's up to you, that intuitive nature to have it reveal the truth. Truth is never hidden. Even though somebody may think that they're manipulating you and deceiving you, you not being connected to yourself is you manipulating yourself and deceiving yourself. And so the more that you're able to be connected to your intuitive nature, the knowingness of oneself, then you're able to see even beyond what people can see of themselves. And so it really, I guess this one is just really a reminder, even for myself, to pay attention to the frequency that people are on. If you're getting a certain type of energy from them, most people will say, I knew I should have went with what I was feeling the first time, and I knew I shouldn't have overthought the process because I was right in the first thing that I had thought about. It's that first instinct, it's that first feeling that you have. And then after that feeling, then the analytical and the logical and the mind wants to try to break shit down now. So now you've dealt with the left side of your brain of pure logic, right? So your initial response is that feminine aspect. It's that instinct. It's that nurturing. It's that knowing where your energy and your path is taking you. It's that knowing, that gut feeling that you feel when you have a conversation with someone. It's that knowingness of what you see when you look at somebody, so all of these things play a huge role. And I think oftentimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. I did that test of your intuition test, and a few of you responded about the pencils, and I actually made it black and white. And it was the different colored pencils, and I asked you guys what color was the yellow color. And some of you second-guessed yourselves. In the actual, when you guys DM'd me, you were right the first time. And then you're like negated, and you're like, no, wait, it's this one. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's that first instinct. So when you do these exercises, you train yourself to stay in that. And then the more that you work it, repetition is the mother of learning. The more that you work it, the more you get uncomfortable, and the more you get in tuned with it. And so yeah, just out of my life experiences and, the attunement within myself, I've come to the realization that I don't have the right to tell anybody how to show up for me, and I don't have the right to tell anybody how to love me. That aspect of them already dwells in them. It's up to me to observe that aspect of them and decide if I want to be a part of that. And I think that's where the balance and the awareness of the situation will be more at ease, because now you're in a space of realizing that even you yourself don't like people telling you how to love, because you're like, well, this is coming from me. And not to say that we're not going to sit down, have conversations of like, hey, I would probably like, if you could, maybe not yell so much, and we can just sit and have a conversation about something. Or not to say that we're not going to bring those up and have great communication. I'm just saying that when somebody doesn't do something that you think that they should do, don't argue about it. Just ask yourself if this is something that you want to stay in, and then just keep it moving. I think oftentimes we really stay in situations that, we just over and over and over again, because we end up living off of the potential of somebody and not the reality of them, and even though they don't show the reality of themselves, the reality is always existing, so yeah, so that is me speaking to myself as I'm speaking to you, as I'm seeing myself in this video. I'm also just, really speaking back to myself, and it's a remembrance of, where people are in the state of which they're at is needed for them in their experience and their growth. And there is no forcing anything. You cannot force a circle to fit into a square peg. It's just not going to work. And why try to continue to force and force and force when you can just flow and allow things to just be, and then decide if you just want to be a part of that? It's like, we've really over-analyzed so many things in this life sometimes, and things have always really truly been simple. Humans just like to make things hard, because hard is what we were taught life is supposed to be, and it's just been the opposite. The more that I just dive into the abyss of myself, it has just been an opposite experience, and the more that I'm able to shed and the more that I'm able to release, it really is the opposite of what I've been taught, what I've been trained, what I've been programmed, what I've allowed to be my truth. And so now it's up to us to just really be able to live a more gentler life, and to be more fluid and to be more open, and just to allow, the art of allowing, the art of allowance, it just is. And so yeah, you guys have a beautiful Tuesday, and just remember, you are an infinite being with limitless possibilities.